Rewatching Season 1, right after finishing Season 2 Part 1, didn't give me new information. It gave me clarity. Because the truth is, the most important part of the entire story has always been Wednesday's visions. I've been pointing this out since the first season, but now we finally have the context to see the full picture. The Enid death vision that still hasn't happened. The way her powers collapsed after trauma. Even those moments when she touched objects charged with memory and was pulled straight into the past. None of this was random. It was building toward what's happening right now. And with Season 2 showing us black tears, broken powers, and visions failing all together, it's clear these aren't just supernatural details. They're warnings, and they've been guiding the future of the story since Episode 1. I'm Raphael CG, and today we're unpacking the hidden meaning behind Wednesday's most powerful ability. Before we break down the specific visions, there's something crucial to understand. Wednesday's powers don't activate at random. There's a system, a pattern, and it tells us a lot more about her character than most people realize. Every vision starts with the same trigger, contact. It can be a person, an object, or a place charged with memory. That's when the visions strike. But what changes is the intensity, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Sometimes they reveal the past, like when she grabbed the iron handle of the old wooden gate at the site where Goody Adams and others were hunted. That single touch pulled her straight into her ancestors' trauma. Sometimes they expose the present, like when Tyler kissed her at the Weathervane Cafe. And in that exact moment, the vision hit, showing the truth of what he really was, the Hyde. And on rare occasions, the visions collapse into something much darker. A prophetic glimpse of the future. The Enid tombstone vision wasn't just another flash. It was trauma forcing its way into prophecy, leaving scars that shook her powers to the core. These aren't random glimpses. They're emergency broadcasts. Her subconscious forcing her to see what she doesn't want to. Let's talk about the vision that's been haunting Wednesday since the Season 2 trailers. Enid's tombstone, and that brief, chilling moment where Enid screams at her, "I died because of you." At first glance, most fans took it literally, a prophecy of Enid's death, but I don't think so. This isn't destiny, it's fear. Wednesday's deepest, most dangerous fear. Think about it. Every other vision we've seen shows past trauma or immediate threats. But this one, it's different. Personal, emotional, and it's the only vision that completely destabilizes her powers afterward. That doesn't feel like fate. That feels like her mind breaking under the weight of what she can't face. Losing the one person who managed to break through her walls. And here's where Season 2 shifts everything. In Part 1, we see her slowly opening up. Trusting Fester, protecting strangers, even lowering the walls she's always kept up. And the second those walls crack, her vision sharpen. They stop being clouded by fear and start pointing to real danger. That's why the Enid vision feels so different. It isn't just a supernatural warning, it's trauma, disguised as prophecy. The question is, if Wednesday keeps growing stronger emotionally, will that vision finally reveal the true threat ahead? Or will it give her a chance she's never had before to change the future? One of Wednesday's most chilling visions comes when she grabs the iron handle of that old wooden gate. In an instant, she's pulled back in time, watching her ancestor Goody Adams being hunted down by Crackstone. Most viewers shrugged it off as just a flashback, a simple history lesson. But it's not. That vision isn't about the past. It's a warning. Goody was a psychic outcast who tried to protect others. And for that, she was nearly destroyed by the very people she was trying to help. And if that sounds familiar, it should. Wednesday is walking the same path. Solving mysteries, exposing secrets, protecting Nevermore, and in the process putting a giant target on her back. The Goody vision is her subconscious screaming, "This is what happens to psychics who get too involved. This is how your story could end." And Season 2 makes that warning even darker. At Willow Hill, we see the experiments. People dissecting outcast abilities, studying them, trying to weaponize them, maybe even steal them. Goody Adams was persecuted for the power she was born with. Wednesday is now facing people who want to control those same powers. Different century, same fear. That moment at the gate didn't just show Wednesday her past, it showed her future if she doesn't learn from it. Here's something almost everyone overlooked. Wednesday's visions aren't just unstable, they're starting to fail. At the beginning of Season 2, she tells us she spent the summer refining her psychic abilities. But instead of becoming more reliable, her powers show something new. Black tears, a symptom we've never seen before. And in Part 1, those tears appear right alongside moments when her visions stop working the way they should. That's the real warning. Her powers aren't breaking because she's careless. They're breaking because something is changing inside her. The black tears are a signal, a side effect of a bigger transformation that the show hasn't explained yet, which leaves us with the question, in Part 2, will these black tears mark the collapse of her abilities or the beginning of a new, even stronger phase of her gift? Now let's look at one of Wednesday's most decisive visions, the moment she discovers that Tyler is the Hyde. Unlike most of her other visions, this one doesn't show the past or a possible future. It exposes the present, the truth hiding in plain sight. The second she touches Tyler, her mind is flooded with images. His attacks, his monstrous transformations, the secret he's been carrying all along. It's a reminder that her gift isn't just about glimpses of destiny, it's about tearing away masks. That's what makes this vision so important. Wednesday's abilities don't activate randomly. They respond when danger is near, when deception is clouding reality. The Tyler reveal proves that her visions can work as a kind of supernatural spotlight, and that changes how we understand her powers. They're not fortune-telling, and they're not just echoes of the past. They're survival tools, instincts sharpened by the supernatural, giving her the truth exactly when she needs it most. Which is why the Tyler vision isn't just a twist in the story. It's the clearest example yet of what Wednesday's gift really is. Now here's where things take a darker turn and where one of your comments completely shifted how I see Wednesday's visions. But what if they've never been about Willow Hill? What if they've been about Slurp all along? Some fans believe there's a deeper connection here. In Season 2, we learned Slurp wasn't just some unlucky student who died. He was Dr. Stonehurst's partner. The mechanical heart? Not Stonehurst's alone. It was their invention, the prototype for everything that came after. And here's the theory that's gaining traction. Every time Slurp devours a brain, he's not just feeding. He might be regaining pieces of himself. His memories, his intelligence, his purpose, slowly becoming less of a monster and more of the man he once was, the man obsessed with finishing an experiment that Stonehurst abandoned. What if Wednesday's visions aren't glimpses of Willow Hill's current agenda, but echoes of the original experiment that created Slurp? The recurring images of experiments, the warnings about powers being stolen, the sense of systematic persecution against psychics. If that theory holds up, then her visions haven't just been pointing at corruption in the present. They've been reaching back to the origin of the nightmare, the place where all of this started, and that changes everything about what we think the real threat is. Here's the comment that completely changed how I see the clock tower. They pointed out that its explosion might not be random destruction at all. It could tie directly to Slurp's backstory from episode 1. Remember Ajax's story? The brilliant student who died when one of his experiments went wrong. But what if it didn't end there? What if Slurp has been trying to finish that experiment ever since? And here's where it gets terrifying. In the trailers, we see Wednesday with an axe, smashing through machinery in the tower. That might not be her fighting some generic threat. That might be her destroying the very machine Slurp rebuilt. Devices designed to complete the experiment that created him in the first place. If that's true, then her visions aren't vague warnings of danger ahead. They're specific alerts about a plan decades in the making. Slurp trying to finish what Stonehurst abandoned. Even Enid's blood-soaked vision starts to look different in this light. Maybe it wasn't about symbolic fear, maybe it's literal. Enid caught in the wrong place when Slurp's experiment finally reaches completion. And those mysterious power shutdowns? Maybe they weren't just emotional overload, maybe they were interference, the result of Slurp's rebuilt tech disrupting her abilities. If that's what's happening, then Wednesday's visions haven't just been showing her the enemy, they've been showing her where the final confrontation is going to happen. Season 2 gave us the missing piece to understand Wednesday's visions, and it flips the whole story. Everyone thought Willow Hill was the endgame, evil scientists dissecting outcast abilities, trying to control and transfer powers to normies. But what if Willow Hill was never the real threat? Think about it. Stonehurst spent years trying to perfect ability transfer, but decades earlier, he and Slurp had already created something far more dangerous. A hybrid being, part human, part technology, stronger than any outcast. Slurp. That means Wednesday's visions may not have been about Willow Hill's research at all. They've been pointing to Slurp's unfinished work, and suddenly everything clicks. The shutdowns weren't weakness, they were her mind-learning resistance. The Enid blood vision wasn't prophecy, it was a warning about emotional vulnerability. The Goody Adams vision wasn't just history, it was a blueprint of how psychics are always targeted and exploited. Willow Hill was just a distraction. The real danger has been Slurp all along, and Wednesday's visions have been training her to face him since the very beginning. So here's where all of this leads. Wednesday's visions have never been random. Every one of them carried meaning, but in Season 2, they shift into something new, more powerful, yet also unstable. We see the first signs with the black tears, a symptom never explained in Part 1. At the same time, her powers start to falter. The gift that once guided her through every mystery is now breaking down just when she needs it most. And that infamous Enid tombstone vision, it's not prophecy. It's fear, a warning of what happens when the strongest abilities start to collapse under pressure, which leads to the real question for Part 2. Are these cracks in her gift the beginning of the end, or the sign of an evolution? Because if Wednesday's visions are changing form, they may not just reveal danger anymore. They could become something far greater, a way to uncover hidden systems, to expose persecution itself, and to give her the power to fight back. That's why her powers failing isn't weakness, it's transition. The black tears aren't an ending. They're a signal that her gift is mutating into something we've never seen before, or maybe a symptom of something far more dangerous, the kind of threat that only Morticia or someone like her might know how to stop. Here's what blows my mind about revisiting Wednesday's visions after Season 2, Part 1. They were never just supernatural flashes. They've always been part of a bigger design, a survival manual hidden in plain sight. Every single vision has been pushing Wednesday toward the same truth, that the real danger isn't the hide or the school drama. It's the people who know exactly how to exploit psychic abilities. And her emotional journey, that wasn't a side plot, it was the test. Because the fastest way to weaken a psychic isn't with fire or chains, it's by turning their own emotions against them. Wednesday had to learn how to care without losing control. And now her visions are sharper than ever. So tell me, did I miss any hidden vision details that tie into this bigger pattern? And what visions do you think are still coming in part 2? Drop it in the comments, I'll be watching, and I won't say goodbye. I'll just leave this here. How Judy became Wednesday's most dangerous villain. Click it, and I'll see you there in a few seconds.